What's up, Techno fam? How are you doing today? Chana D, your Techno Dad here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to connect up a Xbox Series X with the TV and an AV receiver so you can get 4K 120Hz and Dolby Atmos while you are gaming. We're going to check it out right after the jump. And I'm back. Now I know most of you are saying, well, Techno Dad, can't you just plug in your Xbox Series X to your AV receiver and have everything go through the receiver to the TV? Well, the answer is no. First of all, you would need an HDMI 2.1 capable AV receiver, and all of the ones that came out in 2020, this is Yamaha, Marantz, and Denon, they all suffer from a HDMI 2.1 chipset mismatch. So the only ones that will actually work, I've tested, is the Marantz with the PS5, and that will work, but the Xbox Series X will not, okay? You can't get 4K 120 and HDR will not pass through an AV receiver, any AV receiver that's out on the market right now. So what we're going to be doing, if you've been with the channel, you guys know, this is the eARC Workaround, and there are settings on all three devices we need to change, and we need to connect it up properly. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. Now, before we jump into the video, I want to give a big shout out to all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You guys make all these videos possible with your contribution, and I totally appreciate it because, you know, these things take a lot of time to make. Anyway, if you want to become a patron, check out the link down in the description. All right, for today's video, I'll be using the Xbox Series X, LG E9 OLED, which is a 2019 LG TV. So if you have a 2019 TV like the C9 or some of the other LED models, they should all be the same menu structure wise. If you have a CX or 2020 LG TV, I don't think they changed a whole lot, but if they did change a setting or like a menu, like where it's placed, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And as far as an AVR, I'm using the Marantz SR7015, which is a 2020 AVR from Marantz. Any Denon 2020 is going to look the same. And in fact, since we are not even going through the AVR, any Denon or Marantz AVR that has eARC or audio return channel, they will all work the same. I believe the menu system is the same for the last 3 or 4 years. All right, so first let's talk about physical connections. Other than power, this is what we're going to need to connect up. So first, we connect the Series X HDMI output to HDMI input number 1 on the LG. I'm using a ZestKit HDMI 2.1 cable for this, as it's shorter than the stock cable, and I've tested this out and it works 100% of the time. If you guys want a list of tested HDMI 2.1 cables, definitely check out the link down in the description. The second connection we make is from HDMI number 2 ARC port on the LG to the HDMI monitor ARC port on the AV receiver. For this connection, I'm using an older HDMI 2.0 cable, as the only thing we need for eARC to work is an HDMI 2.0 cable with Ethernet. So let's quickly talk about ARC for those that don't know what it is. So ARC stands for Audio Return Channel, and eARC stands for Enhanced Audio Return Channel. Normally, we would connect all devices to the AVR, and the AVR will output audio to speakers, and it will send video out to a display like a TV or a projector. If you were to connect the HDMI monitor output from the AVR to any of the 4 HDMI inputs on the TV, we will get a picture as the AVR is sending video to the TV. However, when we connect the HDMI monitor 1 output from the AVR to HDMI input number 2 on the TV, the designated ARC port, we will now be able to not only send video to the TV from the AVR, but also send audio from the TV back to the AVR. So now this one HDMI cable is sending information both upstream and downstream, and it's, you know, doing double duty, which I think is pretty cool. Previously, we'd have an HDMI cable going from an AVR to a TV to send video to the TV, and then we'd have like an optical cable back from the TV to the AVR to send audio that way. So now we've gotten rid of one cable and it's all done with the one HDMI cable. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, if you don't know what the difference between ARC and eARC, let's talk about that real quick. So the audio return channel sends compressed audio from the TV to your external device, whether it's an AVR or a soundbar or something like that. Now, eARC, enhanced ARC, is going to send uncompressed audio signal from the TV to the AVR. Now, in this case, we would want it to send uncompressed because we're starting off with an uncompressed signal with the Series X and sending it through the TV. As far as your TV's apps like Vudu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever video, all that is all compressed. I haven't heard of any TV apps actually sending uncompressed audio. So that's the main difference between ARC and eARC. Remember, it doesn't really matter that much if your receiver doesn't support eARC. It's okay, you're still getting some form of Dolby Atmos from the Series X through the TV into your external device. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be getting 4K 120Hz with HDR and Dolby Atmos sent from the Series X to the TV. You're going to see 4K 120 HDR, and then the audio is going to be piped through the TV to the AVR, and then I'll be getting Dolby Atmos sound while in game. Sound good? All right, let's get upstairs and check it out. All right, so here we are on the home screen of the Series X. Let's go into Settings, General, TV and Display Options. Next, we go into 4K TV details. As you can see from the screen, the Series X is saying your TV setup doesn't support 4K UHD at 120 Hz. Now on this screen on the Xbox settings, we want all these things to be green check marks, so let's go do that. We're going to back out of this screen and pick up the LG remote control. Click the cog icon on the LG remote. Next, go to the bottom, click the 3 buttons to get into all settings. Then go to Picture up at the top, and now select Additional Settings. There's a setting here that we need to select, and it's called HDMI Ultra HD Deep Color. Since the Series X is connected to HDMI 1, we need to turn this on for HDMI 1. Select OK, and then back out of the LG TV menu. Back in the Xbox settings, we will go back into TV and display options. Now you'll notice the resolution and frame rate has already been changed to 4K 120. And when we go into 4K TV details screen, we can see we have all green check marks, which means we have now set up 4K 120 HDR properly. Now to set up Dolby Atmos, we need to navigate to the Xbox Store and search Dolby to download the Dolby Access app. Once the app is finished downloading, go ahead and launch it. And we need to make sure to select Dolby Atmos for home theater. Under products, highlight the middle section to see if it's up and running. For me, it says ready to use as I've already set it up previously on this Xbox. Let's jump into the settings to check out what we need to change. So going back to General again, this time we go to Volume and Audio Output. Under Speaker Audio, make sure HDMI audio is set to Bitstream Out. And under Bitstream Format, make sure it's set to Dolby Atmos for home theater. All right, so right now we can just kind of back out and everything should be good to go. But before we leave this area and this whole Dolby Atmos situation on the Series X, if you guys are going to use the Series X as a 4K Blu-ray player, I would highly recommend against it. Get a dedicated player. But if you can't justify that cost, I totally understand. And so if you're going to use it as a 4K Blu-ray player, you're going to need to actually activate Dolby Atmos for Blu-ray playback. And we'll show you that right now. So in the Series X settings, go to Devices and Connections, then select Blu-ray. When you get to this screen, just scroll down and check the box for Let My Receiver Decode Audio. Now the Series X knows when you play a 4K Blu-ray to send Dolby Atmos from the Blu-ray player app to your external device. Now if we jump back into Call of Duty, we get an HDR flag on the TV, as well as a Dolby Atmos flag on the TV. So we know those two things are working properly. We do have to get into the graphics options for Call of Duty to see that 120 Hz is enabled. And look there it is. 120 Hz is enabled. So these three things tell us that we are getting 4K, 120 Hz, HDR with Dolby Atmos coming out of the Series X. So once the source is all done, now we just need to make a couple more changes on the TV and on the AVR, so now we can get Dolby Atmos piped on through. So if we press the cog button on the LG remote and hover over sound out, we can see that it's set to internal TV speaker. Go back into all settings and then navigate to sound. We can see a little switch for Dolby Atmos and it's already active. So move down to sound out and select HDMI eARC. Now in this section, you can run it one of two ways. If you have a standard eARC AV receiver, leave eARC off and leave digital sound out to auto. If, however, like me, you have an eARC supported AVR, then you're going to need to turn eARC from off to on and then change digital sound output from auto to pass through. All right, let's back out of all of that and now make the changes to the AV receiver. Since we were on HDMI 1, meaning the Xbox, we need to change the TV's input to HDMI 2 so we can set up the AVR. Here we are. When I press setup on the Marantz remote, it brings up the menu. Scroll down to video. Now select HDMI setup. Scroll down to eARC and turn it on. Look at that. Simple. Just to verify, let's back out of this menu and scroll down and select inputs. Select input assign. Now in this little chart here, we can see that TV audio has an X. And on the very far right on that row, we can see eARC is active. So the input you need to set on the AVR is TV audio, and then the TV needs to be set to HDMI 1, right? Because the Xbox is coming in HDMI 1, and then the audio is going out HDMI 2. So now we're at the Series X, change the HDMI input on the TV to HDMI 1, and we're firing up a game. And we're also watching the Marantz app to see what kind of audio signal is being sent to the AVR. Once the game loads up, we can see a Dolby Atmos signal is coming into the AVR from the TV, which originated from the Xbox Series X. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are now playing Call of Duty in 4K 120 Hz with HDR and with Dolby Atmos audio coming from the Xbox Series X, going through the LG OLED TV into the Marantz to my 5.1.4 Dolby Atmos home theater. Now, if you follow these steps, you should get it all working just as I have here. Well, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about this or anything else, let me know down in the comments below or hit me up on social or email, whichever you like to use. And yeah, if you like this video, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm your Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.